everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Cameron Sports Podcast. I'm your host here, Cameron Lindsay here, but with a new episode. First off, I want to say thank you to everybody that tunes in to each episode, regardless of how many views I get. And also thank you for staying subscribed or subscribing if you're recently new. Like I said, I started this sports podcast because of my passion to and dream to become a professional sports journalist / analyst for companies like ESPN, Fox Sports, WWE, NHL, MLB, college football, all the big companies and sports companies in the world. And I know it ain't easy, so this is a way that I can get my voice out, my opinion out on takes of games, athletes, wrestlers, anything regarding the world of professional sports and entertainment. So that's what I'm here for. So just in case if you get tired of watching people like Skip Bayless, Colin Hayward, you might want a new fresh face to watch on and on YouTube or anything. So but let me tell y'all what today's episode is about. First I'm gonna get into the recent playoff games in NBA, NHL, and then a main event topic is going to be the WWE pay-per-view tomorrow, Night of Champions. It's a pay-per-view for the WWE, and also NXT Battleground, which is also a WWE pay-per-view for NXT brand of WWE. That is going to be Sunday. We're going to get into that. I'm going to give my predictions on the matches and describe to y'all what the WWE is, who these superstars are, because a lot of people may not watch WWE since Hulk Hogan, John Cena, Batista. They may not know who these people are, and that's what I'm going to do for y'all, tell them who they are, what the matches are, and, give my predictions on who's going to win. So, but first off, I want to say how very disappointed I can admit I'm wrong. I predicted the Lakers to win in 7 over the Denver Nuggets. If you remember in my previous episode, I said Lakers in 7. Boy, was I wrong. I really thought the Lakers could do it. I thought that with LeBron, AD, with the role players we had playing well, that they can win. It'll be a hard series, but they can win. Nope. Lost game 1 and game 2. I'm like, after game 2, they don't want it. But I'm like, okay, we undefeated at home. Just taking one game at a time, and they can possibly tie it up and go 2-2. Nope, 3-0. I'm like, these boys literally about to get swept on their home court. Literally on their home court. And they got swept. The game 4, they was winning like by almost by 20. And then next you know, they let Denver come back in the third quarter. I said, yep, it's over. As soon as they let them, and then they end up losing by 2. Now, LeBron had a chance to get a shot up. I understand Jamal Murray played a good play, but you gotta get fouled, man. Like LeBron is my top 3. You go back to one of my first few episodes. Like I said, I discussed my NBA all top 10 list with my guest, my father, Michael Gavin, and I got LeBron in my top 3 behind Jordan and Kobe, and in that moment, it's like, bro, you are 6'9", 250, 60 pounds. Jamal Murray is like 6'4", probably 190, maybe 200, probably barely over 200 pounds. And at that moment, I feel like you gotta get a shot up, like something. You throw it in the air at least. Didn't even get in the air, and got swept. Got swept in the home court. And I'm just at this point, like, LeBron's 38 years old, gonna be 39 in December. And, AD may be my favorite player. He's a top 10. When he's healthy and his mindset is right, top 10, arguably, really probably top 5. And we did win a championship with him our first year when he joined the team, when we traded for him. But ever since that ring, it's like he should have been the best player on the team then. That's when LeBron's transitioned to the second best player and give the torch to AD. He tried, but it's like after that ring, he's like, nah, you know what, Bron, nah. I'm gonna just casually. It's like he just he'll get 35 and 20 one game and then turn around the next game and give you 15 and 7. Like, I don't know. He's the most inconsistent superstar I've ever seen. And I think it's time to trade both of them, at least one of them. And I came up with a short list of who I think my Lakers could trade Bron or AD for. I know Bron getting older, so it might be a little hard to trade him, but he's still a top 10 player though. So, but I'm gonna start with AD. For AD, I feel like we could trade him for Dame. But the thing is, Dame has to want out of Portland. Well, Dame realized like, okay, because they missed the playoffs again this past season, this season now. And would he be like, you know what? Because no superstars are going to willingly go to Portland. Portland is not a big market at all. So I appreciate his loyalty, like, but it's like when you want a chance to compete for a championship, even if you don't win, I understand that it may not be all about rings. There are players like Charles Barkley, who's a top 75 player all time, one of the historical greats, an MVP. But at least he went to the finals. At least he competed. Like, but you not even, the closest he got was the Western Conference Finals, and those series weren't even really that close. So it's like, dang, come on, man. You getting older. He's still a superstar. You're in your prime. Don't waste it all in Portland. Like, and then I think the last couple weeks of the season he shut it down. Like, Portland still, I think they still had a small chance to possibly get in the play-in, and he shut it down. Like, because he knew they wasn't going to win. So it's like, at that point, you might as well ask for a trade. And I feel like, I don't know. I feel like AD, if he gets traded, watch him go back to New Orleans, AD probably. Because, maybe Bron and Dame, and possibly if we can keep either Austin Reeves or Rui Hachimura, maybe both. Keep some of the role players we have and then sign some other guys. We can compete. Dame is one of the greatest shooters in the NBA history and currently now. So I think that could be a good trade. Also, I think DeMar DeRozan, AD is from Chicago, and he probably would have some interest if he doesn't finish in LA to play for his hometown team. So I think DeMar DeRozan, he's really good at the mid-range. He's aggressive. I feel like really the Lakers were interested in signing him, but they never did. They ended up going after Russ and never tried to sign DeMar, which is crazy to me. Next will be Paolo Banchero, because we really don't have no high first round picks. And maybe, I don't know, I probably Orlando maybe wouldn't do it, but AD is a top 10 player. Like, if they give us Paolo, because I think Paolo Banchero could possibly be a star in the making, possibly. And I feel like if we don't win the championship next year, compete for next year, we can have at least somebody like Paolo who can get better and better and be that star we need. Because in LA, we at least need one superstar, and then because we have one superstar, we can attract another superstar to come play with us and then be competitive. Next, I said Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal, may not be a superstar, but he is an all-star. He's a really good player, can shoot. Like I said, now I wouldn't necessarily just make that trade straight. I would want maybe Bradley Beal, Kuzma, just some depth for AD. Next, I drew question marks on this one. Paul George with the Clippers. But I'm like, Paul, he stay hurt kind of like AD does too, but at least I feel like he's more aggressive. And maybe can play with LeBron, be right, Next, I said Jaylen Brown. This one I really like. The Celtics, depending on what they do with the Heat, right now they're down 3-2. If let's say they lose and don't get to the finals and fail to win a championship again, would they break up their duo of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum? Because they both made an All-NBA team. Jason Tatum made first team. Jaylen Brown made second team All-NBA. And so they're both eligible for the Supermax. I think Jason Tatum like $300-something million and Jaylen Brown over $200-something million Supermax. So I feel like if they don't bring that duo together, I would trade. Really, there was a situation where when AD requested a trade out of New Orleans, like a few years back, there was a possibility that the Pelicans were going to trade him to the Boston, but AD's father said they didn't want to go to Boston. So it's a possible chance that maybe we can make that happen and get Jaylen Brown, who's an upcoming star and has potential to become a superstar. Maybe if you separate him and Jason Tatum, maybe he can have that stardom to be a superstar and Braun pass him the torch. I feel like that really, like I said, the players that intrigue me the most is Dame, DeMar, Paulo, and Jaylen Brown. To trade 80. Now, Braun, now the reason I said to trade LeBron is one, he wants to play with his son Bronny. Bronny is who just signed to USC, will be playing basketball for USC this fall. And he's projected to be a lottery pick in next year's NBA draft, in the 2024 NBA draft. And so if he's possibly going to play with his son, wouldn't it be best to trade him before we lose him for nothing, really, you know? So if we do, I also say we'll trade him for Dame, maybe. Trade him for DeMar DeRozan, Paolo Banchero, and Jason Tatum. Now, like I said, Jason Tatum has always been a Laker fan. I'm pretty sure if the Boston was willing to trade him, he would probably want to go to the Lakers. I'm just saying. I know it's probably a long shot. With LeBron being 39, Jason Tatum only being 25, 26. So I know that's a long shot, but I just feel like we won a championship. We did all we can. It's time to make some moves and probably trade either Bron or AD. So yeah, let me know what y'all think. I know y'all may disagree, like, oh, this is why you're not a GM. I'm not a GM, but I'm literally telling you, like, I'm just tired of AD's inconsistency. Bron is getting older. He wants to play with his son. You don't want to lose. When a player is possibly going to request a trade or wants out, like he wants out of your organization, you want to trade him before he becomes a free agent. Because if you lose, like, let's say OKC when KD left, lost him for nothing. If they know he wanted to leave or they would have acted quickly, they would have got traded for him and got something back, but they got nothing. So as a Laker fan, I don't want to lose him for nothing. Get something, like get some good role players, a star, all-star, superstar, something, you know? So, but yeah. Next up, I'm going to give my NBA Finals predictions. Like I said, the Denver Nuggets beat my Lakers 4-0 in the Western Conference Finals, so they clinch a spot in the NBA Finals. Now, the Miami Heat are currently up 3-2 against Boston. Game 6 will be tomorrow in Miami. Now, Miami has lost the past 2 games. I think Gabe Vincent is hurt. Tyler Herro's still not back yet. Caleb Williams got injured, but he played that game, so I don't know what's his status for Game 6. But if Miami wins, I'm gonna say Denver in 6. I don't know. I feel like Miami kind of starting to get injured, and Jokic it's gonna be way too much for Bam. Him and AD went at it, and AD couldn't completely shut him down. So now, would surprise me if Miami beat Denver? No, but I'm gonna say Denver in 6 if they play Miami. But if Boston and Denver play each other, that might be a look, because Boston, you got more depth to play with Denver. So I'm gonna go with, in that situation, I'm gonna go with Boston in 7. If Boston plays Denver, I'm gonna say Boston in 7 over Denver. But if Denver plays Miami, I'm gonna say Denver in 6. But like I said, if Miami wins, it wouldn't surprise me. So I'm rooting for Miami to close it against Boston, because I would love for Jimmy Butler to get a ring. I think he deserves it. I feel like it will really help his legacy. He'll be officially a superstar. I think he's already a superstar, But in a lot of people's books, he'll be officially a superstar if he wins the NBA championship this season. But let me know what y'all predictions are for the NBA Finals. It starts June 1st. But I ain't gonna lie, in my opinion, I feel like this year probably gonna be the most. If it's Denver and Miami, it's gonna be the most boring NBA Finals. And I don't say that because of Miami. I say really because of Denver. Like, you know what I'm saying? The city's not really like. If it's Miami, Los Angeles, that's a lit NBA Finals. Or Los Angeles, Boston, because of that rivalry, that's a lit NBA Finals. So, but I mean, maybe Denver and Boston, it might be a little bit more interesting. So, we'll see. But though that's my prediction. If Denver plays Miami, Denver in 6. If Boston played Denver, Boston in 7. Originally, I was gonna pick Miami over Denver, and give a shout out to one of my friends named Kwan. He's a Miami Heat fan, but after Miami losing 2 straight, I don't know. Like, they starting to get hurt. But if they get some players back fully healthy, I would say Miami in 7 over Denver in the NBA Finals. So, but we'll see. Next up, we got the Stanley Cup. The Florida Panthers swept the Carolina Hurricane in 4 in the Eastern Conference Finals in the NHL playoffs. So they clinched a spot in the Stanley Cup Finals. Currently, the Vegas Golden Knights lead 3-1 against the Dallas Stars in the Western Conference Finals. So pretty much that series pretty much is about over. I mean, it's not over technically, but I think if it's Florida and Vegas, I'm gonna take the Panthers in 6 over the Knights. But if Dallas somehow comes back, I'm still gonna pick the Panthers in 5. Because I think the Panthers I love an underdog on a Cinderella run. I didn't see them coming because one, they played Boston Bruins in the first round, and Boston been the best team in the NHL all year. And I'm thinking they go into the Stanley Cup Finals, because they won the most regular season games in NHL history, and they ended up losing in 7 to Florida. So, it's been a pretty good Stanley Cup playoffs. I've been watching it way more than I usually do, and it's been pretty entertaining. And I think the Florida Panthers will beat the Vegas Knights in 6 if the Knights hang on to the 3-1 lead and beat the Dallas Stars in the Western Conference Finals. So, yeah, comment below. Let me know what y'all think. What's your Stanley Cup Finals prediction? What's your NBA Finals prediction? Do you think Denver is going to win it? Do you think Miami is going to win it? Or do you think Boston is going to win it? Or do you think so? Or do you think Miami is going to close it out against Boston? Or do you think Boston is going to come back and be the first team to win a series being down 3-0 in the NBA? It's possible. Like, do I think because they won 2 straight games, they just might be the first team. They just might be the first team to come back 3-0. I wish it was my Lakers, but it is what it is. I was wrong. I take, as a journalist, I can admit when our prediction is wrong, and I'm not going to be making any excuses. So, but yeah, those are my NHL, NBA Finals, and Stanley Cup predictions. Now on to WWE. For those who don't know, WWE is a professional wrestling company. That has stars like Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker, John Cena. Is very popular. Me, I'm a WWE fan. As you can see with my gear on, my current favorite WWE superstar is Roman Reigns. So my all-time favorite is John Cena. So that's the GOAT. John Cena and Undertaker are the GOAT in my eyes. But John Cena overall is the best of all time. So, for any WWE fans out there or people that don't know about it or maybe have watched it in a while. But I'm going to start off talking about NXT Battleground. NXT Battleground is a pay-per-view for the NXT brand of WWE. The NXT for WWE is kind of like, if you know, for the NBA and the NFL, in the NBA has a G League, right, where players develop and possibly get caught up on the main rosters of the team they play for. So if, like, let's say a player gets drafted to the Los Angeles Lakers, he goes to the G League. He's going to be for the He's going to play for the G League team for the Lakers. So NXT is kind of like that in a way. You know, they have talent, like, because, you know, superstars like John Cena, Edge, Undertaker, and Stone Cold obviously ain't gonna wrestle forever. They may wrestle for 20 years, 15 years, but at some point they're gonna retire. So the NXT was started up to develop talent for the next generation of professional wrestlers in the world, and it's a really good brand. I seen really good professional wrestlers that I watched today come through NXT. So, but yeah, NXT Battleground will be a pay-per-view this Sunday in Massachusetts, like kind of near Boston. Lowell, Massachusetts. It's near Boston. But yeah, so it got some matches, and I'll start with the first one, the Heritage Cup match between Dragon Lee and Noam Dar. Dragon Lee's now I know y'all really probably don't know who Dragon Lee is. He's a new up-and-coming wrestler that who came from, I think, Mexico, signed with NXT. I think he's a pretty good wrestler. You know, he's a masked luchador. So he has a mask on. He's really good. Noam Dar, I know who he is because he's been in WWE for a while. He recently been in NXT UK, but they changed that to a whole new brand, and now he's in NXT. He's the current Heritage Cup holder, and they will be going 1-on-1 for the Heritage Cup. For this one, I'm gonna go with. I feel like Noam Dar. I feel like he's gonna cheat. Noam Dar, that watching him, he's gonna do whatever he takes to keep this Heritage Cup. So I'm gonna go with Noam Dar over Dragon Lee for the Heritage Cup. I feel like he's gonna cheat. Being a heel in WWE is pretty much a person that is gonna cheat. They're the bad guy in this situation. So, and there's bad guys who's gonna do whatever it takes to win. They're gonna cheat. So I feel like he's gonna do. I want Dragon Lee to win, but he's gonna do whatever it takes to keep that Heritage Cup. Next up, we have the NXT Tag Team Championships. The NXT Tag Team Championships are titles that are held by two male superstars. So you form a team together. Like, for those who know, like, teams like the Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys, the Brothers of Destruction, Kane and the Undertaker. Those are tag teams. Stone Cold and Triple H. The Rock and Rikishi. So tag teams like that. That's what a tag team is. Those are what titles are for people that are a team together and they fight in a ring against another team. So in NXT, the current champions are Gallus, or Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, against the Creed brothers, Julius and Brutus Creed. Now the Creed brothers are former NXT Tag Team Champions. They won it I think sometime last year, and they lost it to the Imperium. So no, they didn't lose it to Imperium. They lost it to Pretty Deadly. My mistake. And now they're going to be challenging Gallus for the NXT Tag Team Championships. I'm gonna say, even though I want the Creeds to win, I feel like Gallus is going to retain, because again, they're more known as the heel in this situation, and they got their leader in this situation backing them up, and I feel like they're going to find a way to retain their NXT Tag Team Championships at Battleground this Sunday. Next up, we have a last man standing match between Dijak and Ilya Dragunov. Now, a last man standing match, for those who don't know, is a match where you have to incapacitate your opponent to where he cannot stand on his feet for 10 seconds, kind of like boxing. So let's say you knock knock your opponent down, and they can't get up by the time fully get up and be functional by the time the ref gets to 10. So this is pretty much like that. And so, it's not a normal WWE match. Anything goes. You can use steel chairs, ladders, anything, fight in the crowd, fight in the parking lot, anything. Long as you incapacitate your opponent to where they can't stand up on their own 2 feet by the count of 10. Now, Dijak is he's a heel in this situation. He's a formidable force. He's 6'7", 260 pounds. Ilya Dragunov is a very, very tough individual. He's a babyface in this situation. He's a former NXT UK champion, and he's very tough from what I've seen. In this situation, I think I'm gonna go with Ilya on this. I'm gonna say he beats Dijak in a close match. That's because I feel like Ilya's I feel like he's more pain tolerable. He welcomes pain. Watching NXT, he loves pain. He welcomes it. He's not going to give up. And even though he's the undersized person in this match against Dijak, who is 6'7", 260 pounds, I think he's going to win. Because again, like I said, this is a last man standing match. So you can use chairs, sledgehammers, anything to win this match. Next up, we have the NXT North American Championship. The NXT North American Championship was brought like a few years back. It's a championship based on the continent of North America, so pretty much Mexico, the United States, and Canada. So it's a title based off our continent, and I think it was a great idea that WWE made this title and brought it into WWE for NXT. It's a great mid-card title, so it gives superstars an opportunity to become a champion, because not everybody's going to have an opportunity to become NXT champion, which is the top ultimate prize in NXT, especially for male superstars. So it gives opportunity. It's like in boxing where you have different weight class titles, and boxing and UFC, you have different weight class titles, so you don't have to be fighting for the same title. So, but this will be a triple threat match between Wesley, the current champion, versus Tyler Bate, a former 2-time NXT UK champion, versus Joe Gacy. Wesley and Tyler Bate are the baby faces in this situation. Joe Gacy, he's the heel. His character, it's like he kind of that weirdo. Like he plays mind games. It's kind of hard to describe him, but I feel like he's a really good heel. Tyler Bate, I've seen him since they first started NXT. He's NXT UK. Matter of fact, he's the first ever NXT UK champion, the youngest too. And Wesley's the current NXT North American champion. He's been in a great run, being NXT North American champion. Now he has almost every week have an open challenge, for his title, and going to wire with almost everyone he's faced. Now it's gonna be a point where I appreciate a fighting champion, but I'll be like, I ain't gonna defend it every week. I may do it every other week, but not every week. And I give your body some rest to know who your opponent is. Study your opponent. You don't want to just do it every week and then you don't know who you're facing. But in this situation, it's gonna be hard because I feel like Joe Gacy, his mind games, he might just win it. And with Wesley and Tyler Bate, Tyler Bate, he kind of betrayed Wesley because he wanted a title match. He's his friend, but he never told him that he wanted to face him for his championship. So Wesley kind of took that as a backstabbing, like you supposed to be my friend. Like if you wanted a chance at my title, you could have asked. So I feel like and then they both got beef with Joe Gacy, who's the heel in this situation. So I feel like possibly I feel like either Wesley is going to retain or Joe Gacy is going to win. So I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna go with Wesley to retain. I feel like Wesley retains the NXT North American Championship somehow, some way. I'm gonna go with Wesley. If not him, Joe Gacy, but I feel like he's gonna retain somehow. So, but the next match we got the NXT Women's Championship. Now the NXT Women's Championship is also the top prize in NXT next to the men's. It's a very historic championship in NXT. Going champions like Charlotte Flair, Ric Flair's daughter, Bayley, Asuka, Shayna Baszler. So it's been a great champions in NXT. Now this title vacant, so there's no title because the former champion Indy Hartwell got drafted to the main roster. So like I told you, NXT is kind of like the G League to the main roster of WWE, like Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. So like how the NBA has the G League for players to wait to get called up to the main roster. This is it. So she got called up to the main roster, and she obviously had to vacate to the NXT Women's Championship. So NXT held a tournament to determine who's going to face each other for the NXT Women's Championship, and these two participants made it to the finals for NXT Battleground. I'm going to start with Lyra Valkyria. She's a new wrestler for NXT that started late last year. So, and she's very, very good. I love watching women's wrestling. As you can see on my shirt, I definitely support the women WWE wrestlers. They came a long way in WWE from, the bra and panty matches and stuff like that. So the women really do fight hard and train, and they're something to look at and respect. So I feel like Lyra Valkyria is a very good competitor. She's gonna be going up against Tiffany Stratton though, who's been in WWE NXT for a year now. Tiffany, she's extremely athletic. She's muscular, but she's very pretty, very athletic. And even now she's a heel. She's the heel in this situation. She's the bad guy. Lyra's the good guy. She's the baby face. And I feel like Tiffany's been she just beat in a semifinal. She beat the former NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez, and I think she's on a collision course to finally become NXT Women's Champion. So I think I'm gonna go with Tiffany Stratton over Valkyria. I just don't think Valkyria is ready quite yet. So I think Tiffany's gonna win, and I think she's gonna be a pretty good NXT Women's Champion. A very good heel. You always need a good heel in WWE, and I think she's gonna win the NXT Women's Championship. Now, time for the main event of NXT Battleground between the current champion Carmelo Hayes and the former champion Braun Breaker. Now, this is a rematch from NXT Stand and Deliver in Los Angeles. Carmelo Hayes had defeated Braun Breaker to win the NXT championship. Now, ever since then, Braun Breaker has turned heel. He was the babyface in the situation. Carmelo was transitioning to babyface, so he kind of was the bad guy, but not really anymore. But Braun Breaker is now. I think he's going to be a great heel. I think WWE did a great job of, with his character, and I think he's going to make a pretty good heel. I thought he was going to get called up to the main roster. Maybe he still might if he loses this match. But even if he doesn't get called up, I think it's going to be pretty interesting for him to stay on NXT for a while as a heel. Now, I could go back and forth with this situation because Braun Breaker has had the upper hand on Carmelo Hayes the past few weeks, spearing him, spear. I'm talking about spear after spear. For those who don't know Braun Breaker, he's the son and nephew of the Rick and the Steiner brothers, a tag team Hall of Famers. I forgot what's his dad's name. Rick and I forgot his name. Steiner. Last name is Steiner though. Um, and he's fast, athletic, strong, built. Carmelo is also pretty built. Also, he's very athletic. I think these two are the face of NXT, the future of WWE when they both get on the main roster, and I think they're both potential world champions in the WWE. And like I said, I think y'all should pay attention. If you're a WWE fan or used to be WWE fan or interested, check these two out: Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker. So, but with that being said, I'll make my pick for this main event, and I'm gonna say Carmelo Hayes retains over Braun Breaker. I think he finds a way to win. Now it's gonna be a real grueling match for Carmelo because Braun Breaker is a heel now, so I think he's gonna bring it, and he may cheat or whatever, but I think Carmelo's gonna find a way to win. But those are my picks for NXT Battleground. I hope y'all also check out NXT. It's every Tuesday, every week at 8:00. That's when NXT is. You can also check out NXT Battleground on Peacock if you got the app. Peacock is $5 a month, and you can watch the WWE pay-per-views every month. And NXT Battleground will be this Sunday, I think around 8:00. So, but next up we're gonna be talking about the main event, which is this Saturday. Main event pay-per-view, WWE Night of Champions. Night of Champions is a pay-per-view WWE pretty much does almost every year. It's a pay-per-view where almost every champion in WWE defends their title. So I'm pretty much now this year, not every title's on the line, but just about. And now, for those who don't know, the current WWE undisputed Universal Champion is Roman Reigns, my favorite WWE superstar currently right now. The WWE had a draft where they drafted, like networks like USA, the USA Network and Fox drafted superstars to their brand, to their show that that they sponsor. So Fox gets Friday Night SmackDown, USA gets Monday Night Raw, and so with Roman Reigns being drafted to SmackDown with the undisputed Universal Championship, that left Raw without a world champion. And Triple H, I give him a shout out because he did the right thing and brought back the Big Gold. For those of you that know, Big Gold is the World Heavyweight Championship. That brings back memories of my childhood because when I think of the World Heavyweight Championship in WWE, I think of Edge, Batista, Undertaker, Triple H, superstars like that held that title and made it prestige. And so the World Heavyweight Championship will be exclusive to Raw. So now that title is currently not held by anyone. So WWE decided to hold a tournament to crown a World Heavyweight Champion at Night of Champions, this pay-per-view. So they selected 12 superstars. That was Seth Rollins, Seth Rollins, who was drafted to Raw, AJ Styles, who was drafted to SmackDown, Edge, who was drafted to SmackDown, Cody Rhodes, who was drafted to Raw, Austin Theory, who was drafted to SmackDown, Bobby Lashley, who was drafted to SmackDown, The Miz, drafted to Raw, Damian Priest, who was drafted to Raw, Finn Balor, who was drafted to Raw, Sheamus, drafted to SmackDown, Rey Mysterio, who was drafted to SmackDown, Shinsuke Nakamura, who was drafted to Raw. Now, the tournament was based off 2 triple threat matches on Raw and SmackDown, and the winner of those triple threat matches in the same night will go on to face each other to determine the winner from that show to go to the finals. So in the first triple threat match on Raw, it was between Cody Rhodes, Finn Balor, and The Miz. Now the Finn Balor won that match because Brock Lesnar interfered. For those who may remember, Brock Lesnar is a formidable force. He's a 10-time world champion in WWE. He's a former UFC heavyweight champion. So he's a former NCAA champion and national champion. So he's arguably the most complete combat fighter. that I have ever seen, winning heavyweight championships in multiple levels and multiple different companies. So he's the real deal. So he interfered in that match because Cody Rhodes defeated him at Backlash. That's a pay-per-view last month. So Finn Balor ended up capitalizing and winning that match by pinning The Miz. So he went on to the finals. The next triple threat match was between Seth Rollins, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Damian Priest. Seth Rollins won that match, as you know, as I predicted. So he went on to face Finn Balor, and Seth Rollins won that match to advance to the finals for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now on SmackDown, the first triple threat match was between Edge, who's a WWE Hall of Famer, versus another WWE Hall of Famer, Rey Mysterio. So y'all may recognize those two names. They still wrestles, at least for now. Edge, I think he's probably gonna retire soon after this year. I feel like I think he got one more year left in him. And also versus AJ Styles. Now this match was really interesting to me, seeing these three face each other. I thought Edge was gonna win. Because I feel like with him one more run, he's an 11-time world heavyweight champion, and it would have been nice to see him get one more run for being world champion before he retires. But AJ Styles ended up winning that match, which I have no problem with him winning. It was between him and Edge, so he went on to the semifinals. The next triple threat match was between the United States champion Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley versus Sheamus. This also is pretty interesting to me. Now, I picked Bobby Lashley, so he ended up winning this match. Now, I probably thought maybe Austin Theory might, but I don't think he's ready quite yet. He's a great United States champion, so I think he's fine with that title. And then the semifinals were AJ Styles versus Bobby Lashley. Now, this was really interesting. Two former world champions, both are two-time WWE champions. And AJ Styles ended up winning that match to clinch his spot in the finals for the World Heavyweight Championship against Seth Rollins. Now on to these matches, and I'm gonna give my predictions and tell y'all what I think and who these superstars are. Now, first match I'm gonna go with is the SmackDown Women's Championship. For those who know, Friday Night SmackDown is a show that comes on every Friday. Show that comes on every Friday. If you remember for SmackDown, you think superstars like The Undertaker, The Rock, Edge, Batista. So if you watched WWE before. Now the SmackDown Women's Championship is the women's world title for that brand for Friday Night SmackDown. Even though Rhea Ripley and Natalya both got drafted to Raw, I don't know how they're gonna do that. Are they gonna switch the titles, make the champions switch, or keep them having those titles even though they're on different brands? Now Rhea Ripley is now a two-time women's champion. She's a former Raw Women's champion and the current SmackDown Women's champion. She defeated Charlotte Flair, who is Ric Flair's daughter, at WrestleMania to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. Natalya is, arguably one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. She has the most matches won in women's history in the WWE. She's also a former SmackDown Women's champion. So I think this is going to be a pretty interesting match. Rhea Ripley is a member of the Judgment Day. It's a faction in WWE that features her, Dominic Mysterio, who's the son of WWE Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio, Damian Priest, and Finn Balor. And their name of their group is the Judgment Day. So Rhea Ripley has, been bullying other female stars. Natalya didn't like that, so she ended up challenging Rhea Ripley to a match at Night of Champions. Now, I think I'm gonna go with Rhea Ripley to win it because I don't really see how Natalya really wins this match or makes sense for her to win this match. But I think it's gonna be pretty entertaining. Either way, I know it's gonna be a good match. So that's pretty much all I care about, rather than is Natalya gonna win. Next up, we have the Raw Women's Championship, which would be a WrestleMania rematch between Bianca Belair and Asuka. Now, I feel like this is a chance for WWE to make things better. The feud between Asuka and Bianca was terrible leading up to WrestleMania. Now, when Asuka won the Elimination Chamber when she won the Women's Elimination Chamber match, which that match is it's a cage where 4 superstars are locked in a pod. 2 start the match every 5 minutes. A pod unlocks and the superstar enters the match. So it's like a steel cage match where you can't escape, and the match is not over until there's one competitor left. If you're pinned or submitted, you're eliminated and you exit the chamber. So she won that match. I think during the whole feud leading up to that match at WrestleMania, Asuka said like 2 words, like literally 2 words. Every week, they just go up to each other and just look at each other, and that's it. And Bianca won. The match was okay, but the feud was terrible. And Bianca she's currently the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion of all time. She's a 2-time Women's Champion, former SmackDown Women's Champion. I think she's arguably the face of women's wrestling right now, besides Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. Her and Rhea Ripley are pretty much the future of the women's division. Now, I don't think Bianca's a terrible champion. She's a great champion. I just think that WWE has kind of made her reign a little boring now. I feel like it's time for a new face, a new fresh champion, a fresh face, and I think this new version of Asuka, who's the heel in this situation, would be good, and then maybe that can force Bianca to become a heel on the main roster, because she hasn't been a heel since NXT. Again, both of these women are former NXT superstars. Asuka's a former NXT Women's Champion. She's a 3-time Women's Champion since being on the main roster, but she's also a former NXT Women's Champion on the NXT roster. Now, like I said, the NXT is like the G League of the NBA, where you bring up talent, and both of these are talents from NXT that are called up to the main roster. So I'm gonna go with Asuka. I hope Asuka wins, because it'll be a fresh face for that title for WWE, and maybe can start something good. Next match, I'm gonna go with Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus. For those who remember, Trish Stratus is a WWE Hall of Famer. I remember her back in the Attitude Era with Lita. Who else? Trish Stratus, Lita, and I can't remember. Like it's Stacy Keibler, all them other women. I feel like I'm gonna remember another name, but I ain't gonna remember by the time I'm done with this episode. But Trish Stratus, she's back. She in great shape. I ain't gonna lie, she's in great shape. She still beautiful as ever. And she's a mom in great shape. Becky Lynch is a 6-time Women's Champion. Like I said, her and Charlotte Flair are arguably the face of the women's division on the main roster. They both are excellent competitors. Becky Lynch, her nickname is the Man for a reason, because she sees herself as equal or better than a man, which I think in this situation it really is true. Like I said, you all need to check out the women's roster in WWE, because it's not the same like it used to be, like bra and panty matches or pajama matches. They actually fight in Hell in a Cell, last woman standing matches, steel cage, elimination chamber, so ladder matches. So this is going to be this is pretty much like a dream match, like in a video game. So Becky Lynch, and now in this situation, Trish Stratus is the heel. She betrayed Becky Lynch when Lita got hurt, because Lita and Becky Lynch were the current women's tag team champions. They lost, and then of course after the match, Trish Stratus decided to betray Becky Lynch and kicking her in the head. So they will be going 1-on-1 at Night of Champions. Now in this situation, I feel like there have been reports they're going to face each other at SummerSlam. So for that to happen, I feel like Trish should win. I feel like this could be a good feud. I think I'm gonna go with Trish Stratus to win. Find some way to cheat, cause like I said, in this situation, she's a heel, so I think she's going to cheat and win. And I think this could be a great feud to continue on into maybe SummerSlam. Next up, we got the Intercontinental Championship. The Intercontinental Championship is a title is historic and been held by people like The Rock, Triple H, I think Stone Cold, Randy Orton. So it's a really historic title for those who watch WWE. Also, Razor Ramon, aka late great Scott Hall, Shawn Michaels. So this title has been held by a lot of WWE Hall of Famers and great WWE superstars. The current champion is Gunther. I know you don't know who he is. He's a great young talent who's been in WWE for a little minute now. He's the current longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in this era. In this era, he's been champion for over 300 days. I think his title reign has been great. WWE has made the Intercontinental Championship very relevant. It may not be a world title, but like I said, it feels like a world title. It gives prestige because last year WWE kind of made the Intercontinental Championship boring. And now with a heel champion like Gunther, who's the bad guy in this situation, gives great prestige to that title. And his challenger is Mustafa Ali. Now they had a battle royal to determine the number one contender for Gunther's title at Night of Champions, and I was very surprised when Mustafa Ali won. Now I didn't think about it till after because this pay-per-view will be held in Saudi Arabia, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, tomorrow at 1:00, and Mustafa Ali is from there, not Jeddah, but he's from Saudi Arabia, I think. So it kind of it makes sense to give him an opportunity at the Intercontinental Championship in front of his home crowd. Now I don't think he's gonna win, so I'm gonna go with Gunther. It will probably be a pretty decent match, I think. Now if he wins, this is gonna be a real upset. This will be an upset if he wins this match. It'll be a huge upset if he wins this match. I'll just be like, oh my goodness, WWE. But I mean, I think at some point Gunther will lose because I feel like at some point he's gonna be a future world champion. But I just don't think to Mustafa Ali at this point. Now, these last three matches are the three main events and not the champions because WWE have three main events, and I'm gonna talk about the first one, and that's Cody Rhodes, who's the son of the late great WWE Hall of Famer, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, versus Brock Lesnar, who I told you was a 10-time world champion in WWE and a former UFC heavyweight champion and a former NCAA national champion. It was arguably the most complete combat fighter in all of professional sports. Now, this is a rematch at Backlash. Cody Rhodes won this match. Like I said, I think it was a real good match. I think it was the right decision for Cody to win. I thought he was going to lose possibly, but now the WWE had a press conference earlier today, and Cody Rhodes, it was confirmed that he has a broken arm, so he's going to be wrestling this match with a broken arm. Now, for those of you who don't know, like his arm ain't really broken. It really is. Because last year at Hell in a Cell, at that pay-per-view Hell in a Cell, he wrestled Seth Rollins with a torn pec. Like, if you got Peacock or YouTube, look up Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell, and you will see his torn pec, like swole up, purple, everything. So he was out for like half the year. So that's real. Like, I know you said these storylines may not be completely real, but what these wrestlers go through is very real. He wrestled that match with pretty much one arm and won that match. So he's going to be doing the same with Brock Lesnar. But I think it's completely different from facing Seth Rollins because that match was in Hell in a Cell. So anything goes. He can use sledgehammers, anything. This is a regular match, and I think Brock Lesnar, Brock Lesnar is angry, and when he's angry, he's very dangerous. So I'm gonna go with Brock Lesnar to win this match. I think one with one arm is gonna be too much. I think it's gonna be a quick match. It may last like 2 minutes. He probably gonna be put him in a Kimura lock or hit him with an F5, and I think that's gonna be it. But maybe I feel like it's gonna continue the feud later on, and for part 3, maybe at SummerSlam, Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, because Cody might be out for a little minute, unless he comes back next month from I don't know how long a healed broken arm can quickly recover. The next main event will be the finals of the World Heavyweight Championship Tournament. Now, like I said again, this is to crown a World Heavyweight Champion. They bringing back the new title. I wish I could put a picture of the title again. Like I said, once I get a MacBook and I could edit, I'm gonna start doing stuff like that. But look up the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, new World Heavyweight Championship belt. It's very nice. It's very great design, and it brings back childhood memories. Excuse me, but yes, it'll be between Seth Rollins and AJ Styles, 2 former world champions. Seth Rollins is a 4-time world champion. AJ Styles is a 2-time world champion. Now, in my opinion, I feel like Seth Rollins deserves it more. He hasn't been world champion since 2019. Now, AJ deserves it too now, but I feel like Seth Rollins has he has won the crowd over a lot, just like, and I feel like he could also be the face of WWE. I know Roman Reigns is the face of WWE right now, but I think Seth Rollins deserves a lot more respect. And I think I'm gonna go with Seth Rollins to win. Now, if AJ Styles wins, would I have a problem with that? No, it'll be pretty interesting. Like wow, I thought Seth was gonna win, but this is gonna be a really good match between these two. The last time they faced each other was for the Universal Championship at Money in the Bank a few years ago when Seth was the champion. But this match is to crown a World Heavyweight Champion for Monday Night Raw. Now, for the main event, the third main event would be for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. Now, and those are the champions are Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They defeated the Usos for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania in the main event of night 1. Because WrestleMania is a 2-night. It's like a Super Bowl, and it's a 2-night event, which is I think it's very great. WWE, it gets a lot of views. For next year's WrestleMania, I would recommend watching it. They'll be going against the current undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns and his cousin Solo Sikoa. Now, aka the Bloodline, the Samoan Bloodline in WWE goes a long way from the Wild Samoans, Rikishi, Umaga, The Rock. Yeah, so it's a lot of the Samoan bloodline, and I forgot his name. I don't know why I always keep forgetting stuff that I know and I'll remember later. But the Samoan bloodline is very strong in WWE. So Roman Reigns will be teaming up with his cousin Solo Sikoa, who's a young talent that joined the main roster late last year. And Roman Reigns, like I said, he's my current favorite WWE superstar in WWE right now. I think he currently in this generation, he's the greatest of all time. When he's done, he possibly he might be the greatest of all time. Maybe when he's done, I think that's John Cena right now. But for this match, his titles are not on the line, but the tag team championships are for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Now, I'm going to go with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn because I think his cousins are going to get involved and going to cost Solo and Roman the titles. Maybe, I think they're probably going to cost them the titles because they're going to try to get involved, or they're going to try to maybe help them win, or they're going to cost them the tag team titles. And that's going to become a family feud. That's going to cause drama really it's already drama because the Usos lost the titles. Roman has kind of disowned them. He's been disrespecting them, pushing them in the face. Like he had a feud a few years ago with his cousin Jey Uso. So that's gonna start the bloodline. It's gonna start it's already crumbling, cracking. So it's gonna really start shattering. I think after Night of Champions tomorrow, uh, it's gonna be pretty interesting. Again, I recommend watching this both pay per views. Night of Champions tomorrow, 1 o'clock, and NXT Battleground Sunday. If you all you gotta do is download the app Peacock on your phone or PlayStation, anything TV. It's only $5 a month. You can watch these pay per views every month. Now, like I said, I told everyone that I would be adding WWE into my podcast because, like I said, it's a sport, it's a professional sport. I think it's gonna bring great content. It gives me the ability to bring in another audience who are WWE fans like myself. Me, because I'm an NBA fan, I'm a NFL fan, college football fan, MLB fan a little bit because I support the Atlanta Braves because I love to see that Atlanta. And a recent hockey fan because I'm a Seattle Kraken fan now. So I'm bringing in multiple sports. I don't want to just talk about only basketball and football. I want to talk about in baseball. I want to talk about wrestling also. So I really recommend each and every one of y'all checking out WWE. But again, I appreciate each and every one of you that always tunes in. If you could please share on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, LinkedIn, anywhere around the world. I want to try to get my name out there as much as possible. And yeah, I'm gonna continue to try to improve each episode. I already know I'm end up eventually adding in music. You're gonna eventually see my videos different. You're gonna see me my editing come in. You're gonna see, different type of stuff. But follow me on all my social media accounts also. But yeah, I love each and every one of y'all. Y'all stay blessed. I'm gonna continue to pray for each and every one of y'all. Continue to pray for me because this definitely ain't easy. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all so much. And this has been Cameron Lindsay, host of Cameron Sports Podcast. And I'm out.